You know, we all like to think that love is unconditional. But the second money enters the picture, the rules of the game can change completely. And honestly, it's one of the most uncomfortable truths about modern relationships.
So let's just ask the big question right up front. Why does the person with the bigger paycheck so often get to call all the shots? Not just with the budget, but with life. Today, we're going to break down exactly how a financial imbalance can turn love into an emotional chess match.
All right, here's the plan. We're going to look at 5 key things. First, how money becomes a control tool. Second, the parent-child trap that so many couples fall into. Third, the literal pain that comes from comparison. Then we'll get into the hidden rebellion, and finally, the exhausting act of pretending to be the perfect couple.
Okay, let's kick things off with money as a tool for control. Now, this isn't always some sinister plot. In fact, it usually starts from a place that's deeply, deeply human.
See, at our core, we all have a fundamental need for control. Psychologically, we crave the ability to manage our environment just to feel stable and safe. It's the same reason that when your life feels chaotic, organizing a closet can feel so incredibly satisfying. It's about creating order.
So, when one partner has all the financial power, it's really easy for them to start using money to manage the life you share. This can look like small things, like them always picking the restaurant, or it can be big things like them planning an entire vacation without your input. They're creating order, all right? But it's their order. And here's the tricky part. For the person with the money, they might just feel like they're taking care of things. But for the other partner, it can feel like a total invasion of their autonomy. That paycheck becomes a silent, hidden weapon for dominance. It's a lot like when someone is chronically late. It's an unconscious power play to show who's in charge.
Now let's move on to our second dynamic, because this is where things start to get even weirder. A power imbalance like this can actually trigger a strange regression, pulling both partners back into roles they learned in childhood. According to what's called family systems theory, when we're under stress, we tend to snap back to old roles. The partner with the money can slip into being the controlling parent, making all the rules. Meanwhile, the financially dependent partner can regress into the dependent child, acting out, being secretive, just to feel some sense of control again. And this isn't just a feeling, it's neurological. Your brain has these deep, old pathways linked to being subordinate that were wired in when you were a kid. So when a partner has all this financial dominance, it can literally light up those old pathways, making you feel small and powerless, even if you're a totally capable adult.
All right, next up, the pain of comparison. This is what happens when the financial gap in a relationship becomes a constant source of stress. And believe me, your brain reacts in a very surprising way.
This is pretty mind-blowing. According to social comparison theory, the feeling of being financially less than your partner can activate the exact same regions in your brain that process physical pain. Let that sink in. That feeling of inadequacy can literally, physically hurt.
This social pain creates this constant, toxic background noise in the relationship. It's just a low-level hum of discomfort. Suddenly, any conversation about money feels like a personal attack, which, as you can probably guess, absolutely destroys the vulnerability and intimacy you need for a healthy partnership to survive.
And all of that pain and discomfort leads directly to our fourth point, the hidden rebellion. Because when people feel like their freedom is threatened, even in subtle ways, we have an innate, powerful urge to push back.
The official term for this is reactance. It's that automatic impulse to do the exact opposite of what somebody wants you to do, just to prove to yourself that you still have a choice. It's your brain's own little freedom fighter.
In a relationship with a big power imbalance, this rebellion usually goes underground. It might look like secret spending, a way to reclaim a little piece of control for yourself. It's a lot like secret eating driven by shame. Or it can be quieter, just emotionally withdrawing and disconnecting to protect your own inner world from being taken over.
And finally, all this secrecy and resentment leads us to the final act, the facade. So many couples who are dealing with these hidden power struggles spend a shocking amount of energy just pretending that everything is fine.
It's called social masking. On the outside, they look perfect, successful, happy, totally in sync. But behind closed doors, the financially dependent partner is often just exhausted. It's a full-time job performing that role, managing their own emotions while constantly catering to the dominant partners.
And that is the real cost here. All the energy poured into that performance, into keeping up appearances, is energy that could have been used for real connection, for real intimacy, for actually growing together. The facade literally starves the relationship of everything it needs to survive.
So, if any of this is sounding a little too familiar, what can you actually do about it? Let's break down 3 concrete steps you can take to start reclaiming that balance.
First, you just have to acknowledge the roles. Are you falling into that parent-child dynamic? Just seeing the pattern for what it is the most important first step. Second, establish boundaries. And I mean it. Protecting your space and your right to make decisions isn't selfish. It's essential for your identity's survival. And finally, you've got to speak about it openly. These hidden patterns thrive in the dark. Bringing them out into the light is the only way to take away their power.
Ultimately, it all comes down to this one question. What is money's true role in your relationship? Is it a tool that you both use together to build a life, or has it become a measure of power and a tool for control? The answer to that question tells you everything.